The lights dimmed in the Republic Arena as 20,000 voices fell to a whisper. Tonight wasn't just another fight. This was the battle we'd all been waiting for. The one that would settle decades of debate among action film enthusiasts and martial arts purists alike. Michael Jai White, the lethal technician with hands like lightning, stood across from Bruce Willis, the gritty survivor who'd proven time and again that heart could triumph over technique. The tale of the tape told only part of the story. White entered the octagon at 6'1", his frame carved from years of disciplined martial arts training that began when he was just 7 years old. His black belts in 7 different fighting disciplines weren't just decorative, they were weapons forged through decades of dedicated practice. Every muscle fiber screamed precision, from his perfectly balanced stance to the way his eyes tracked movement with predatory focus. The crowd erupted as White shadowboxed, his combinations flowing like deadly poetry. His trademark spinning heel kicks had ended careers, and his ground game was suffocating. But perhaps his greatest weapon was his mind, calculating, patient, always 3 moves ahead of his opponent. White had studied Willis extensively, knowing that underestimating the veteran would be his first and last mistake. Yet across the canvas stood a different kind of warrior entirely. Bruce Willis may have been approaching his 60s, but the fire in his eyes burned with the intensity of someone who'd survived every war Hollywood could throw at him. His background wasn't built in traditional dojos, but in the unforgiving school of real-world toughness. Willis had transformed his body for countless roles, learning to fight not just with technique, but with the raw determination that made him a legend. The psychological warfare began immediately. Willis moved with the swagger of a man who'd stared down death on screen 100 times and walked away victorious. His boxing background from his younger days showed in his footwork, not flashy, but fundamentally sound. Where White possessed technical mastery, Willis brought something equally dangerous: unpredictability. He'd proven throughout his career that when his back was against the wall, he found ways to win that defied conventional wisdom. The opening bell shattered the tension like glass. White came out methodically, his lead leg measuring distance with precision kicks that kept Willis at bay. The veteran circled patiently, absorbing the technical display while searching for openings. White's first combination was a thing of beauty, a jab cross followed by a lightning-fast roundhouse that whistled past Willis's ducking head by mere inches. But Willis had been here before, in that mental space where survival instinct takes over. He closed the distance with surprising speed, forcing White into a clinch where technique mattered less than pure grit. The crowd roared as both men battled for position, Willis using his veteran savvy to neutralize White's reach advantage. When they separated, Willis had landed the cleaner shots, short, economical punches that carried the weight of experience behind them. Round 2 saw White adjusting his game plan with the intelligence that made him so dangerous. He began mixing his striking with takedown attempts, using his superior grappling credentials to drag Willis into deeper waters. The takedown came halfway through the round, and suddenly we were watching a chess match played with limbs and leverage. White's ground control was suffocating, his transitions between submission attempts seamless and threatening. Willis, however, had spent a lifetime learning how to survive in hostile territory. His defensive instincts, honed through years of playing characters who refused to quit, kept him alive as White hunted for the finish. The veteran's cardio, built through decades of demanding film schedules, served him well as he weathered the storm and eventually worked back to his feet. The turning point came in round 3 when both men's true characters emerged. White, perhaps frustrated by his inability to finish the seasoned warrior, began to abandon his measured approach. Willis sensed the shift immediately, the way a predator smells blood in the water. As White lunged forward with an ambitious spinning attack, Willis stepped inside and landed the most significant strike of the fight, a crushing uppercut that staggered the martial arts master and sent shockwaves through the arena. The momentum had shifted completely. Willis pressed forward with the relentless pressure that had made him an icon, landing combinations that spoke of years spent learning to fight not just with his hands, but with his entire being. White's technical superiority was still evident, but Willis had found the one thing that could neutralize it: unbreakable will combined with perfectly timed aggression. Round 4 became a war of attrition. White rallied with the heart of a true martial artist, using his superior conditioning and technique to edge the round on points. But Willis had planted seeds of doubt, proving that experience and determination could stand toe-to-toe with pure skill. The crowd was on its feet, sensing they were witnessing something special, not just a fight, but a collision of philosophies about what it truly means to be a warrior. The final round arrived with both men showing the effects of battle. White's combinations were still crisp, but the steam had gone out of his most dangerous weapons. Willis moved with the careful economy of someone managing his resources, but his eyes still burned with that unmistakable fire. They met in the center of the octagon like gladiators, trading shots with mutual respect and absolute determination to claim victory. In the end, it was Bruce Willis who emerged victorious, winning by split decision in a fight that could have gone either way. The deciding factor wasn't technique or athleticism, it was the veteran's ability to impose his will when it mattered most, to find that extra gear when the lights were brightest and the stakes were highest. Willis had proven once again that in the crucible of competition, heart and experience could triumph over pure technical skill. The victory belonged to the man who'd spent a lifetime refusing to accept defeat, who understood that sometimes the greatest weapon isn't perfect technique, but perfect timing and unshakable resolve.